What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. So today what I wanted to do is jump in to take a look at the sneak peeks, for which we know we're getting the update tomorrow for what looks like a return to Mutants, and it should be a happy return to Mutants. We've got the key art, and I gotta admit the key art looks absolutely cool and amazing. So we're gonna get the update for these three characters. We're gonna get Omega Red is finally joining the game. I remember when this when the survey went out, like I don't know how long ago, how many years ago that the survey went out, and we were asked, you know, hey, who do you want? What characters you guys are looking for? We had like Havoc and a bunch of these characters, and those went out, and we really didn't see much from them. I mean, there's still characters on that list that you're just like, hey, where the hell are they? But essentially, four characters are getting new uniforms or upgrades inside the game. So we get Cable, we're gonna get upgrade for Strafe with a new uniform more than likely, and then Domino and Omega Red. I think Omega Red's probably the piecemeal for this. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, a little disappointed somewhat in the update, just because of Strafe. Like Strafe serves as the single pain point for me in terms of talking about updates that should have been, could have been, and how they are now going to be reflected in the game. So let's jump in here really quickly so you can see the sneak peeks. So the first one we got is like basically a movie all together for these things. I thought about compiling it because I didn't want to get in trouble though by doing it. So let's take a look at this. 2-minute long video, or this is not a sneak peek. This was like literally a trailer for the game, and it's absolutely cool that they did this. Like, you really can't be mad at this any shape, form, or way. I was pretty surprised. It's part of what made me think that there are some of the people that were from Marvel Future Revolution went over to the Marvel Future Fight team, and where we are. I feel like Marvel Future Fight could be so big if there was just some changes that they made to this game.
Requesting assistance. Stand by.
It looks so terrible though, them running out like that, I gotta admit. But hey, look, man, this is Marvel Future Fight. This is better than we've gotten ever, I think. This is not your normal update. And you see the T that's out there, right, with the T3. So you know that Strafe is getting his T3. Like, they made it pretty obvious.
Open fire!
That is just absolutely cool. And then you see Cable showing up. You just toss that shit right back at him. Cable with his BFG. And you see the T4 here. So Cable is gonna get his tier 4 blast mail hero. He's getting his tier 4, and then we get getting his T3. Strafe getting his T3. So you can see over here, This is CM Fragment, Marvel Future Fight, the mutant with Omega level telekinetic abilities, and his evil clone have returned. Check out the new looks and abilities of the superhero and supervillain who resemble each other. The Ascani son and the clone. So this is a really cool update for these two characters, and I think it's really cool because, yeah, we previously had Cables in his uniforms. His most, I think, Summer Days was like a good uniform that you could have had for this character, depending on where you look at. And so then we had the Extra Swords uniform. I didn't really feel like purchasing the Summer Days uniform, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it wasn't like this Summer Days uniform that they gave to Cable over the Extra Swords uniform is the perfect example of like come say come saw with these uniforms. It was like not a major upgrade with this Summer Days uniform at all. And so it wasn't in terms of optimistic, like, I mean at all. In terms of like worth, it was just easier to go and keep the Extra Swords uniform inside there. I think it was, or skip over, and I just kept the Extra Sword uniforms for Cable. So we're gonna finally see Cable get his tier 4 inside of here. And when you look at that character in terms of like, let's go here, Blast, superhero. I think it's kind of important to point out that he's a mutant specifically and look at the list there. So in terms of your Blast superhero type characters, he basically has Xavier, and that's it from the list of characters that he's basically competing against at the Blast hero. Why we didn't get a tier 4 for Scott Summers, I have no clue. When they released this uniform for Scott, it was one of the most disappointing and upsetting things that I think you could possibly see. Granted, Jean Grey got her uniform, and this was a good uniform for Cyclops in terms of what it brought to the table. But why he didn't get a tier 4, I have no freaking clue. Terrible, right? Just absolutely terrible. So now his son will get, well, not his son, but will get a uniform before him. So, whoa. I don't know what to think there, right? And then Strafe, this is probably the most disappointing. This dude is like the original world boss legend, right? Almost. And you basically get Strafe inside of here, and you're like, we haven't seen an upgrade for this dude in ever. And now we're gonna get a tier 3 for the character. And the problem is that you basically have tier 4 characters. So what difference will it make about whether or not you upgrade this villain, right? Like, I mean, how much is there gonna really be on the table for you to suck on that bone? Like there's not gonna be a whole lot of meat. So in terms of villains, Strafe isn't competing in the mutant category. I went deeper for mutants. Not really competing too much because he just has Magneto to compete against. Will he be more powerful? He's definitely not going to be more powerful than Magneto, and he's more than likely going to be more powerful than Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister's update was a joke, right? So he's really only competing for that mutant supervillain male role with Magneto at tier 4. His tier 3 is not going to be more powerful. So if you don't have one, so for instance, right now, if you didn't have one of these characters and you were looking for a male villain who could do something, I would have to suggest to you that you go with Magneto because there's a higher upside to him than Strafe. And that's where the problem and predicament that they've put us with is that essentially there's so many characters that got left off of uniforms, got left off of upgrades. And so here we are looking at a tier 2 Strafe years later, almost 5 years later, and 5-6 years later, and he's just getting his tier 3. It's a little disappointing. A little disappointing, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's all he's competing with. The second sneak peek came in, and it was just as much fire as the first. So let's jump in that one and take a look. So the second sneak peek was for Domino, and it said the mutant who always has luck on her side is back in mission as a mercenary. I don't know if that means she's going to be villainous or whatever, because she's always a mercenary, though. Check out the new looks and abilities of a mutant who has incredible luck. So let's take a look at this one over here. So I don't know how I felt about this one, because like with the muted presence in the colors that was there, something about the uniform just didn't really like capture my eyes. Like the whole uniform just looked pretty muted, and I hope that they come out with something like, you know, better. It almost felt like what was the DC character that they just made? It was like a spinoff of the Joker. I can't remember what the hell the character's name was, but it almost felt like that looking at her. So I am kind of excited to see what she brings to the table ultimately in terms of Domino. But here we go. We getting Domino, right? And I just don't feel like that uniform eclipses the way this one looks, but we'll have to see what the uniform looks like ultimately, but it just doesn't look like it, right? And so you get another character who could have been very popular and could have had a uniform, and you essentially, like, this was it. This was all you got for the character in the entirety time that she's been in the game. And she's not getting a tier 3, she's not getting a tier 4, she's getting a potential transcendence. A potential transcendence. Like, at this point, like, what the hell? So we compare her to hero females that are a mutant, right? So let's go superhero. I think she was speed. I think she's speed. Yeah, she's speed. So superhero speed type characters, right? And we want to see superhero speed type speed characters. And the lot that she has to compare herself to is Kitty Pryde and Rogue. That's it in the speed category for whom she has to compare to, unless for some reason they decide to go female on Deadpool. Because here goes the funny thing about Deadpool, right? Is that Deadpool does have a Lady Deadpool uniform and a holiday party Lady Deadpool uniform. So you could conceivably see, because usually where Domino and Cable are, you know, Deadpool is somewhere around. You could conceivably, and I'm dying to see this because this will be a test for the character, because you could conceivably get a tier 4 Deadpool and have a Lady Deadpool or holiday party Deadpool speed type female character who would remove the necessity for you to have a upgrade in terms of potential transcendent for Domino. That's just the truth. That's the flat out truth with the problem with where we're at with the current state of the scale and power of the game. Power creep withstanding, it's ruining things. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. Now, she could easily be conceivably better than Kitty Pryde or Rogue when she releases, because Rogue's update was, to me, it felt like a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. So her potential transcendence can conceivably be stronger than both of these characters, because I didn't T3 Kitty, because I like, you can see I was like on the path to doing it, and I was like, am I ever gonna really play as Kitty Pryde? And I was like, nah, but she has a tier 3 in there, so she can conceivably be better than them. That's the truth. Now, if you notice that she's a worthwhile tier 3 because she's got a good leadership there. It applies to all mutant allies. She increases all basic attacks by 60%. I just didn't level her up because I was like, I don't see if I'm going to use her. That's the truth of the matter, right? So especially with the way mutants are treated in this game, like there were other characters that I could have basically went with over her. So the last sneak peek that we got was the one that I think everybody's the most excited for, probably except me. And we got, this is CM Fragment of Marvel Future Fight. Agents, a new mutant supervillain has arrived. Who can stop this bloodthirsty mutant from his rampage? Check out the powers of this new supervillain who has carbonadium tentacles within his arm. So let's take a look at this one. Cable like dumbfounded. He don't know what's going on. Danger. So when I saw that, I'm sorry I had to pause this real quick, right? But when I saw that in the background over here, and I saw the danger sitting in there, here goes the thing. There used to be, for the newer players, veterans will remember this, there used to be a game mode called Danger Room inside the game, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was probably one of the better co-op content pieces inside the game, and I really wished, I remember when they first established it, it was one of those pieces that, like, you know, you can go and play with players, and and they used to release some of the mutant characters and some of the non-mutant characters as well inside there as like rewards. So they were like characters locked behind there. And I really wish that they returned that to the game, because I really never felt like it should have been taken out. It was in beta for the whole time that it was in the game, and then they pulled it out of the game completely. And I was hoping that it returned. And when I saw this preview and I saw the danger behind it, I was like, please let that be a return to Danger Room. I would love it more than anything if, other than these characters that we're getting, that we got the Danger Room return. I really do miss that content. I thought it was a good piece of content. So and you can see why I say that, right? Because Omega Red, he's basically breaking out Omega Red from the Danger Room. And it's, I don't know, like for me, it is immediately what I thought when I saw that. Immediately what I thought when I saw that. So here goes my hope for what I'm seeing there with Omega Red. My hope is that we're going to get all of these characters from the update key art. So we're going to get a Domino, we're going to get Cable, we're going to get Strafe, and then we get Omega Red. What I am hoping for most is that when we get inside of the game overall, is that what we get with Omega Red is a return to Danger Room, and that with the Danger Room, we get Omega Red as one of the unlocked characters inside the Danger Room. I think that would be the best feature that they could have return to the game. I think that would be one of the better options to do that. I don't know if that's going to be true. I really don't. I don't know. My expectation for Omega Red is that he's going to come to the game as a supervillain. Obviously, he's a mutant, and I expect that he's probably going to be a combat class supervillain. So he's going to have to compete against these characters here. So you're basically going to have him against the Juggernaut in the Fear Itself uniform, even though it's weird because Juggernaut's not really technically a mutant. Then you've got Apocalypse, who for some reason still has yet to receive his tier 4. He's definitely going to probably eclipse these characters. Dakin is in there, but like he hasn't received anything whatsoever for him since he's been released. Like no uniform, no nothing. And then Sabretooth, who recently got his T3 and this ugly uniform that I'm really not a fan of. I did T3 Sabretooth because I am a fan of him, but not there. And then he's got to compete against Namor, the Submariner, for his uniform, with his uniform from the Wakanda Forever and the and his tier 4, because he does have a tier 4. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I still have yet to tier 4 Namor. It was almost done. I remember I was just so pissed off that we didn't get a T4 Black Panther or a T4 Black Panther Shuri and didn't get the uniform, and I didn't tier 4 him out of like protestation. Like it was just protest, right? Because I was that pissed off. So my expectation though is that Omega Red will come to the game at tier 3 and that he will be tier 3 type character. And I'm hoping, this is me hoping, that Omega Red does come to the game in Danger Room and that the Danger Room content returns based on his preview. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you excited about this update? Is it something that you really don't care about? I think there's a little bit something here to be had simply because I think a lot of players do like the mutants. And these are characters that are really easy to unlock. It's one of the things that does, however, beg the question, especially with these characters and needing the specific Phoenix Feather and Mcron Crystal materials that they need to be leveled up. So for instance, the materials that these characters need are your Mcron shards. They're required for mastery. The tier 2 advancement materials for these characters are Phoenix Feathers, and the Mcron crystals, which require for them to advance to tier 2. They are necessary for the new players. And if you're going to release 4 mutants in one update that maybe newer players haven't had, it's time to start questioning like about the numbers that we have for the cap on these numbers. I don't know for the life of me why we still have a cap on. So you can see down here it's a 6,000 cap on both the on all three of the materials, the Mcron shards, the Phoenix feathers, and the Mcron crystals. It's a hard 6,000 cap, and I just, for the life of me, don't know why, especially when we get into this update and you're going to release 4 mutants all in one update, and players are going to basically be tied down to whom they could and could not upgrade because of this. So I really wonder what the path forward and the plan there is in terms of these characters and what their potentiality for the effects and change. The biggest thing, like I said though, and I want to put it out there again, is are we going to get Danger Room return? Do we have the return of Danger Room? All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.